Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We're your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
Well, busyness, overworking, addictive doing, and perfectionism might be the norm. It's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams. Let's dive in. Hello, it is Philly here on the Ending Body Burnout Show. I'm going to do a bit of a solo episode today. If you listened to the podcast last week where we spoke to my past coach and mentor, Jaemin Frazer, we were talking about how insecurity and self-limiting beliefs can absolutely derail your health. And we spoke a little bit about broken rapport with self and how physical symptoms can show up in the body when there's broken rapport with self. I would have loved to have really dug into that specific topic on the conversation or in the conversation last week, but there was so much to cover and to pick the information from Jaemin's brain. So I wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up from that conversation and share with you my own story around how pain and symptoms have shown up in my body as a sign that I've broken trust with myself. So just to recap on what I'm talking about with broken rapport with self, when you believe dysfunctional things about yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm unlovable, I'm broken, I'm untrustworthy, whatever iteration of that self-limiting belief is for you, generally most adults will create those beliefs early as a kid, and you continue living your life with these beliefs hidden in your unconscious state and literally doing so much damage. So it's like, I liken it to there's a little tiger chasing around you in your unconscious state 24/7. If you believe that you're weak and incapable or unlovable, then it's always like the world and life is always going to be scary for you. It's always going to be safe. There's always the fear that you're going to be rejected or that you're not going to do a good job at something, that someone, the whole world, is going to find out the greatest fear you have about yourself, that there's something inherently wrong with you. And that not only affects your thoughts and your feelings and then your behavioral patterns, but the unconscious state is controlling 95%, or the unconscious state is 95% of our mind. And it is also controlling every chemical reaction in your body. So it is absolutely connected to the body systems that we do functional medicine lab testing for and the health of your nervous system. And if the nervous system and body systems are breaking down, imbalanced, then that's going to always show up as physical symptoms. So this is what makes our health practice really different. In fact, I haven't found any functional medicine practice that addresses the body and health issues at this deep root cause. So when you have these beliefs and you haven't ever addressed them, looked at them, or maybe you have, but you start believing the old things again, your unconscious mind will grab your attention. And the easiest way it does that is through pain and physical symptoms. Sometimes for some people, it's like a real physical symptom, body burnout, a lot of symptoms. For other people, it might be just like tension, disease, yuckiness, yucky feeling in the body. Or you get stuck in these spirals of thought and behavioral patterns that you know are damaging you, causing you a lot of stress and pain, but you just can't seem to break the cycle. So I want to talk about, in this story, I'm going to share some really specific physical pains I was experiencing chronically that were absolutely not just physical, but even deeper than that, just a way that my unconscious state was trying to grab my attention to repair my relationship with myself. So I have a few pain signals that I'm like, ooh, like now that I am so connected with myself and I really understand what's happening in my body and what my unconscious state is trying to tell me, I've got a few different pain signals. So like really subtle ones, I'll usually get a bit of tension under the diaphragm. And then if I don't listen, it will start traveling up to my chest and it will start feeling, chest tightness, kind of like that sort of anxious, can't breathe feeling. If I don't listen, it will turn into full-blown histamine intolerance and heartburn. And then it's like no matter what I eat, I am in pain after every meal. And it's kind of funny. It's actually, well, no, I eat a lot of histamine foods anyway, so it's mostly histamine foods. So back in the day when I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on, so initially it was, I'd done a lot of the physical work and that cured the heartburn and the hidden histamine intolerance. I actually didn't realize it was that back then. And then for several years, going along fine, symptom-free, COVID happened and the physical symptoms flared up again, but nothing physical this time worked. And so I was just at the point where I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'll share more of this story so that might be a little bit of repetition when you go back in and listen to the rest of the story. But I was like, I don't know what's going on. I've tried all the physical things, all the tests, all the supplements, all the diets. I mean, I feel better if I'm eating low histamine, but I love food and a healthy body should be able to eat all healthy foods. So anyway, I did some deep dive work on the metaphysical side of things and what was happening in my unconscious state and the beliefs that I had about myself. And so my big pain signal that I discovered was that this chronic heartburn and histamine was purely just my unconscious state trying to grab my attention, that something was wrong. That something was wrong with my relationship with myself, and it was just a beautiful, loving message through pain that was trying to bring me back in alignment with myself. So anyway, I'm going to share a story. This is actually a story that I shared last year on our YouTube channel and on our blog, and Facebook. I shared it there as well. But now that we got the potty, I'm going to reshare it because it is a really special, sacred story, actually. I call it the miracle moment, that I went from having chronic histamine, heartburn issues daily to next minute, gone, by using the power of my mind and by restoring a deep and loving relationship with myself and learning to really trust my body's ability to function. So let's jump into the story, and I really hope you enjoy it and you get a lot out of it. And stick around because I want to share a more recent story that aligns with this histamine thing and what it actually means to end your body burnout. Okay, so I'm going to share a heartburn story. I recently, like on my blog, I don't know, a few years ago, I did write a post about how I physically healed from chronic heartburn that really was going on for about 15 years. 15 years, bad heartburn, almost daily. Healed that when I first started doing functional medicine. So that would have been about 7 or so years ago. And I did my own lab testing. I did my own physical protocols. And one really important thing was that I found that I had Helicobacter pylori, which is a bacterial pathogen that causes heartburn, as well as a bucket load of other pathogens that were just flaring up everything, and adrenal fatigue, which all affect gut health. So anyway, all the physical healing of the gut and my adrenals worked fantastic in resolving my heartburn.
but only for about 5 or so years. See, what happened was in 2020, everyone will remember what happened in March 2020, the COVID pandemic hit, and a lot of my old health issues started flaring up, including heartburn. And I wasn't really surprised at the time when it happened. You know, I was under a lot of stress, overwhelmed, like a lot of people were. And while I was super frustrated that the heartburn had come back after thinking that I had healed it, I knew I'd addressed the heartburn earlier on, so I thought I could do it again. I'm like, oh, it's all good. Got to calm the farm down. Let's do the gut healing. Let's do the lab testing. Let's do all of that. It's going to work this time, like it did last time, and everything will be okay. So that's what I did. I ran labs, did protocols. My lab tests, I was like certain that H. pylori was back, but it wasn't. Didn't show up on any lab testing. In fact, my stool test was pretty clean of pathogens. There was no leaky gut. There was nothing like that. So then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a SIBO test now. So I went and did a SIBO breath test. Had never done one of those before because there wasn't really any need to, back when I was healing everything else. But I'm like, there's got to be another reason. So I did a SIBO test and SIBO came back positive, but only like minute amounts. Probably even with a client, I might have just said, hey, let's just try maybe just addressing this with doing a SIBO diet. But anyway, I'm like, this is it, SIBO. I've got SIBO. This is causing the heartburn. So I did a 2-week elemental diet, which if anyone else has done that, I know I have some clients who have, it is the hardest 2 weeks of your life because basically you're just drinking a nutritional medicine shake and no food. And I love food, so it was really hard. Okay, so anyway, I did that, did a retest. SIBO was clear. I'm like, yes, that 2 weeks was worth it. Just a little secret, though. I actually didn't do 2 weeks. I think I caved at day 10 or day 12 and I retested early because I'm like, oh, I can't do it for any longer. I was such a sook. But anyway, super excited. SIBO was clear. I'm like, yes. Okay, great. When I start eating food, heartburn. Going to be so much better. Started eating food. Heartburn was there and probably even worse. And so I went on for a good few months, maybe even 6 months, feeling super deflated. I thought the only option, you know, I'd kind of done everything. I'd done the apple cider vinegar. I'd done digestive enzymes. I'd done hydrochloric acid. I'd addressed any pathogens that showed up, such as the SIBO, which isn't really a pathogen, but anyway. I was doing everything. I even did a H. pylori protocol thinking that maybe the SIBO test missed H. pylori. Still, no issues. So the only thing I could think of was maybe there was so much damage done from the original infection and for whatever reason, my gut is just broken and can't heal. Is really what I kind of got to the point to thinking. And so then my only option was, well, maybe I just need to manage what I'm eating. So eat really small amounts and then I won't get a heartburn and try and reduce histamine foods because I found that a lot of the histamine foods would flare up the heartburn. But not all the time, but most of the time. So anyway, this just did my head in though, because one, I love food, and also my deepest belief around food and nutrition is that a healthy body should be able to eat all healthy foods and even some unhealthy foods every now and then with no issues. So the fact that I was still getting this pain signal and this symptom, even though I couldn't figure out what was wrong with my body physiologically because I tried all the things, that was really deflating. And it also just, you know, motivated me more after I got out of the woe is me phase, motivated me even more to like, okay, let's look outside the box. What haven't I done? And so I started investigating other reasons why my health issues were still lingering. And I knew I'd done all the physical stuff. I'm like, I got to go beyond just trying to physically heal my gut because it's not working this time. And this is when I came across my now life coach, although I've finished his program, Jaemin Frazer. So in his book, he's written an amazing book called Unhindered, The 7 Essential Practices of Overcoming Insecurity. Highly recommend it for everybody to read. It is life-changing. Jaemin talks about health issues as being a sign of unaddressed insecurity. And so I was like, okay. And in his book, something really specific really grabbed my attention and kind of like just really like I felt it in my heart and every cell in my body. So I'm going to read this. So he said, your body craves health. And this is also coming from a neuro-linguistic programming presupposition. So an NLP presupposition is that our bodies crave health. And in Jaemin's words, health is the default. When you take the handbrake off and give yourself permission to flourish, health is where you end up. Being unhealthy, sick, and carrying excess weight is serving you by protecting you from what you are most afraid of. So I read that and then I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. What have I not discovered about myself that might be keeping me in this sick state? Now, Chris and I mean, we were already preaching and teaching the body-mind connection in our health practice for like a good, I don't know, year and a half or a couple of years before I came across Jaemin's book and his podcast and everything else that led to me working with him. So it wasn't new for me. Like I knew that the body and the mind is connected and that health issues, you know, often comes from a place of how we feel and think and feel about ourselves. But I thought my mind was fine. Like I thought that I'd done work. I was really good at staying motivated. I was really good at doing all the healthy things. I was managing my stress. I now say managing because I was only managing my dysfunctional response to stress, not actually addressing it. So initially I thought, no way, it's not an emotional mental thing. No way, Jose. But after reading that segment in the book, I thought, well, the fact that I still have heartburn and also there's some dysfunctional patterns and behaviors showing up in my life, which were affecting not just my health, but my relationships, my happiness, even our finances and our business, made me realize that there was deeper inner work to be done. Behavior never lies. So, you know, I had done work. I had done personal development. I had worked on my mind. I had worked on my lifestyle. But the fact that I was still showing up with symptoms meant that I hadn't done all the work. I just started it. That is a really important thing to bear mind of because a lot of people say the same thing when they come to us. They're like, oh, no, my mind's fine. I meditate. I do breath work. I worked with a psychologist or whatever. Yet they're still stuck in sickness and in like behavioral patterns that are causing their sickness. So they've started the work, but they haven't done the work. Maybe there's just only been self-awareness work, but not actually the transformational work. Anyway, so I worked with Jaemin for about 6 months to really dive deep into my own hidden self-limiting beliefs and insecurities, which reaped amazing results in all areas of my life. I actually did a podcast with Jaemin just a few weeks ago. It's up on his The Insecurity Project podcast. If you want to listen to me talking about that for 90 minutes and what I did and all my results and how hard it was, then definitely go check out that podcast. But for now, I just want to tell you one of the results that I saw in doing this work, and that was healing heartburn. It was actually an incredible experience, and I may get emotional when I share this. Okay, so it was about 4.5 months into doing like really deep inner work, and I had seen some incredible breakthroughs and improvements in my life as I was deconstructing and rewriting my own weak and incapable beliefs about myself. Yet the damn heartburn was still there. And I remember during a coaching session with Jaemin, I was a bit deflated. I'm like, oh, the heartburn's still there. Look, it wasn't really something that was my focus anyway. You know, I wanted other stuff to improve. I just thought, hey, if other things are improving, then maybe the heartburn will improve if it's an insecurity issue, but it hasn't improved. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the food. Maybe it's just histamine. Maybe my body just won't ever like histamine foods and I have to eat small portions and da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, Basically, I was pretty much saying, it's not me, it's you food. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just all you food. So I'm going to have to manage how I eat you. And as I told this story, Jaemin just simply responded to you, maybe you are hiding out in plain sight. And I'm like, what does that actually mean? I very well know what it means now, but for my listener right now, hiding out in plain sight is when you appear to be doing something good or healthy, but you're actually running away or hiding from the greatest fear that you have about yourself. And for me, that was my old belief system that I was inherently weak and incapable. And so when Jaemin said that, because, you know, it's like, yeah, I got heartburn, but I'm living really healthy. And I'm doing really well with the way that I eat and I'm managing it. So, you know, I'm strong and capable now, yet I still got the heartburn that was hiding out in plain sight. And when Jaemin said that, a supplement popped into my head that I had been taking for years. Like immediately it popped into my head, and it was my beloved Menstro Care. Any of my clients who I've prescribed Menstro Care to, it is an amazing, beautiful supplement that helps to balance out your female hormones. So I have a history of PCOS, irregular periods, like to the point where when it was really bad, not getting periods for every 3 to 6 months, pretty crazy. I was an emotional PMS mess, infertility, and also hormonal acne. And anyway, I tried lots of things to kind of address the hormones, and doing all the body systems worked really well, but it was Menstro Care, which was just kind of like the cherry on the top. It was the only thing that really gave me beautiful, perfect, regular cycles, little to no PMS. Sometimes I'd just get my period and be like, oh, hello, you. Delicious, clear skin, as long as I was avoiding dairy. So anyway, loved this supplement, Menstro Care. It was the love of my life. And during this conversation, heartburn conversation, I'm like, why are you popping into my head, Menstro Care? Like, what the heck do you have to do with heartburn? You certainly haven't caused it, because I was taking you Menstro Care when I was heartburn free for those years after doing physical healing. But what I had learnt during the inner work process is that random things don't just pop into your conscious mind. Don't just come from your unconscious mind. Random things don't just pop into your conscious mind for no reason. It's always a message from your unconscious state. And so I listened. I'm like, this feels really weird and random, and I don't know why you're popping into my head, Menstro Care, but what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me, unconscious state? How is this supplement connected to my heartburn? What are the dots that I need to connect here? Surely, in my head, I'm like, surely there's nothing wrong with taking this lovely natural medicine. It's a natural gift from Earth, and there's nothing wrong with taking it as a supportive supplement long term. But the more I listened to my unconscious state, the more I got really raw and honest with myself, I realized I was actually using this supplement as a hideout. So the truth was, I was scared to stop the supplement, because if I did, I thought my hormones would go nuts again, and that my skin would break out with pimples, and then everybody, including my clients, would think that I was unhealthy, that I didn't smoke what I preached, that I was a hypocrite, and that I was a no good practitioner, that if I couldn't even have clear skin, then what use am I to anyone else? Essentially, my old dysfunctional beliefs of being weak and incapable were still stealthily hanging around inside my tissues, inside my unconscious state, even though I thought I'd fully addressed them. But behavior never lies. So my behavior of holding onto the supplement solely because I was scared about what others would think about me and my abilities as a practitioner if my skin flared up was enough evidence to my unconscious state to say, yeah, actually, Philly down there, yeah, deep down, I still think you're weak and incapable. Do you get what's going on here? It's just crazy. It's crazy the way these old beliefs and these old patterns get so stuck inside us. and literally one, affect our behavior and also our health issues. So anyway, when I had this realization, I'm like, what the heck? What the heck? In addition to my hiding out, the fact that I hadn't given my body and my hormones a chance to balance on their own, unsupported without the supplement, or even to see where my hormones were at, was also evidence that I didn't trust my own body's innate ability to rebalance and achieve health. Like, I just want to say just really quickly, there's nothing wrong with taking supplements. Like, I prescribe supplements to all our clients. They're really important when you need to deep physiologically heal your body. But at some point, you should be able to go off supplements and just nourish your body with good food, a lovely lifestyle, a lovely calm mind, and a deep love for yourself. Should be enough. Yet I was still holding on to these supplements for years and years and years. Not because of health, but because of my fear that my skin will break out and that people would think I'm a no good practitioner. So you've got to remember that our bodies crave health. So when you address deep dysfunctional beliefs about yourself and allow yourself to truly flourish, health is where you end up. So Jaemin was completely right. I was hiding out in plain sight. I was hiding behind the supplement, a lovely, natural, healthy thing to be doing. And I was pretending it was just because of supportive of my hormones and my health, when in actual fact, I was just protecting myself from being exposed as being weak and incapable. And so that day, when I had this realization, as scary as it felt, I decided to stop taking the menstrual care. And it might sound weird, but it was scary. Like, I was scared to stop taking the supplement. Because what if my skin did flare up? What if my hormones did go crazy? Well, what would it then mean about me? But I'd already done enough work by then to know that, darling Philly, you are strong, you are capable, you are enough, you're amazing exactly as you are. And it doesn't matter whatever anyone else thinks about you. And in fact, what I think other people are thinking about me, it's just like made up stuff in my head anyway, because people don't think that. And if they do, then like it's 2% of the population, whatever. And so I decided to go off the menstrual care. One, I wanted to just trust my body, just wanted to see where my body was at and give it a chance to actually like achieve homeostasis, because that's what our bodies are trying to do at every minute of the day. And I also hoped, although on one side of me was like, oh, I really hope my hormones are lovely and my skin doesn't break out, I also kind of thought, well, you know what? If my skin does break out, that's going to give me a really beautiful opportunity to work through my insecurities around my skin and what other people think about me in real time. So at this stage, though, I still had no idea. Like, I literally still had no idea if doing this would address the heartburn. But I knew that every time I'd listen to my unconscious state and the little thoughts, random thoughts that will pop up into my head, that every time I've listened, it's always steered me to establishing rapport with myself, and good things have always happened. So then a miracle happened, and I call this a miracle because I have no other, I call it a miracle because I wouldn't have believed it would be possible unless it had happened to me. If this was a story I'd heard, I'd be like, oh, wow, you telling the truth? Although I have heard other people share similar stories, and I wholeheartedly believe that body and mind is connected, and realign with yourself and your body will achieve health. So I believe. Anyway, so that night I was eating dinner, and it was a meal high in histamine. So tomatoes, spices, starchy, gluten-free pasta, a meal I'd been eating 2 days earlier because I love to like bulk create my dinners so that there's enough for a few days later. And it had given me heartburn. Every time I'd eaten this meal, heartburn, lunch and dinner. No joke. But this time, after I decided to stop the menstrual care, after I ate the dinner, I spoke to my body. I'm like, you've got this, body. I trust you. I love you. You're whole. You're well. You're fighting for me. You're not fighting against me. You're fighting for me. I believe in you. I believe in me. I am strong. I am capable. I'm amazing. Body, you are amazing. I'm so sorry. I'm so truly sorry that I had been doubting you when I didn't even consciously know I had been. And as I spoke to my body, the most beautiful thing happened. From the top of my throat right down to the bottom of my gut, I felt the most intense feelings of energy and light and love cascade from one end of my gut to the other. I can't explain it in any other way than I was spiritually being healed. That is how it felt. And I'm getting emotional right now, and I'm literally just brought this feeling on inside my body right now, which is just a beautiful thing that I've now learnt to do. Like, I feel spiritually cleansed and healed right now as I speak, which has this amazing domino effect on my actual physical and physiology body. So that was intense, though. When it first happened, I had my empty bowl in front of me. I burst out crying. I burst out in tears of awe, of gratitude, of forgiveness, of tears of pure love for myself and for my amazing body. And there was no heartburn, like no heartburn. Even when logically this meal, this starchy, high histamine meal should have caused the heartburn, there was none. And I kid you not, for the next 2 days, every time I ate food or after I ate food, I felt the same feelings of love and light and energy ripple from my throat to the bottom of my gut. And there was no heartburn. I literally felt like Superwoman because I did this. No one else did this for me or to me. It wasn't even like I had a Reiki person or an energy healer or taking a supplement or whatever. I was powerful enough that I had created this healing inside my body simply with the tools I have inside me. And the reason why it worked for me was because I came out of hiding and I deeply trusted my body and my own innate nature. I was able to finally calm my nervous system down. If you want to kind of like think about the science side of things, it's not just woo-woo. It's literally like, you believe in me again. Thank you, Philly. Now I don't feel like the tiger's chasing me all the time. Now I can be calm. Nervous system can be calm. And that allowed the physiological pain signal, like the actual physiological symptom that I was getting, the heartburn, and this signal that was coming from my unconscious state to turn off. Like, my body was and is incredible. So now I have a really deep, like I had a knowledge understanding that body and mind is connected and that issues can get stuck in your tissues and all that sort of stuff. Like, read heaps of books, love all that stuff, love to talk about that with clients. But I'd never really experienced it for myself. And so now I have a really deep understanding that health symptoms are never just physical. Like, the body and mind are fully connected, and your spirit, body, mind, and spirit. And your unconscious state is controlling everything, including how your nervous system and other body organs function. And I just think now, like, how extraordinary is it that our unconscious state can communicate to us through our bodies, even though it is through pain often, because that's the easiest way it can grab our attention, to keep us safe and soulfully happy. And I see pain now as a friend, as a loving communication pathway, letting us know when something isn't quite right. So you might be thinking, am I heartburn free? Was I just heartburn free for like those 2 days when I was feeling the love and the light ripple through my body? No, I've had a few flare-ups, like literally only 3. And they lasted for about 6 hours to 48 hours since I had this initial experience. And when my heartburn flared up, initially I thought, oh, it was the food, because it was always triggered after I ate food, and usually high histamine foods. But the thing is, it was never the food. Even these like little flare-ups that I've had, never the food. In all 3 times that I've had the heartburn flare up again since the initial healing, I had broken rapport with myself in some way. Like, I'd stopped believing, or I'd started believing old stories that, I am weak and incapable, or I'd done something that had broken an agreement with myself. And as soon as I was able to rebuild trust with myself and realign with my true self again, the heartburn switched off immediately. I kid you not. It was there and then it wasn't. And that is how I knew it was not just a physical symptom, but it was my unconscious state using a physical symptom to get my attention. So when I've shared this story with others, many people have said, oh, wow, you're so in tune with your body. I wish I was so in tune. Wow, that's so amazing. I can't believe it. I am in tune with my body, but I'm not special. I didn't have this deep healing experience even when I physically healed like 7 or so years ago. It's not because I'm special. It's not at all. Like anyone can do this work. Any person can end their body burnout. Like it's literally how we're hardwired. Every cell is fighting for us to reach homeostasis, which is beautiful. It's just learning how to get out of your own way. So when you're willing to communicate to your body, you will also become very in tune with the signals that your body is sending you. And you can heal and you can stay well. And you may have little flare-ups or little pain or little symptoms pop up. But when you see those as communication signals, especially after you have physically healed, then holy crap, like it's life-changing because you will constantly be able to course correct because you get those signals when you know you've gone off the path. So this last few months of 2022, we've been putting together a very specific process called Spark, which is part of our Ending Body Burnout method, that I'm just so excited about. It coaches you to become your own healer and realign back to the way you are hardwired to heal. And this is something that's missing in our healthcare. It's even missing in many, almost all functional medicine practices, which focus on like healing. Yes, they talk about stress and reduce stress and do breath work and meditate and all that sort of stuff. But rarely are people being coached to rewire the brain and to address inner dysfunctional beliefs and stories and patterns and programs that are stressing out your nervous system and blocking your ability to heal. So in our Ending Body Burnout method, we've created Spark to address this so that people actually do respond to their treatment protocols and so that they have long-term health for life. Especially those people who are just doing all the things and you're not getting better, you're probably missing Spark. Or maybe you try to do all the things, but you just can't because you're stuck in dysfunctional, unhealthy patterns of behavior and stories. You need Spark. So the body and the mind are connected. While physical healing is super important to resolve body burnout, and it's definitely part of our toolkit. Like we still do lab testing. We still do supplements. That's like very early on in the piece. But you will only ever get short-term relief, if at all, if you don't address the inner healing stuff as well. So if you've been listening to this story and it's really resonating with you and you would love a holistic, like a real holistic approach to addressing your health issues and your body burnout, then feel free to reach out to learn more about our holistic signature Ending Body Burnout method. An easy way to do that is just to book in for a free discovery call. I'll put a link underneath this video if you would like to do that. And I'm just super excited about it. I just feel like Superwoman. And I love this inner work because back in the day when I practiced probably more just like physical healing, here's some supplements based on your lab tests, here's a special diet to get your body working again, make sure you do these lifestyle things, sleep well, don't do so much, stop saying yes, get more balance in your lifestyle, all that sort of stuff, super important. But people just weren't consistently getting well or staying well, and myself included. And so if I'm on a mission to end body burnout, this deep inner work stuff has got to be part of the process. Amen. All right. I shall go now. This is one of my longer videos. We're super keen to start a podcast in 2023. So this will probably be a podcast episode, which you can listen back to or maybe never listen to again. All righty. See ya.
Hello, I'm back in 2023. So I wanted to give you just a recap on, I guess, how I've been traveling from the histamine heartburn side of things. I don't know. For the past 9 months, it's been amazing in terms of my body has been very settled. Occasionally, as I mentioned at the end of that story, I've had a couple of little sort of flare-ups, but they've been purely connected to I've started believing old thought patterns or old beliefs, and my unconscious state is like, no, we're not doing this anymore. No, you love yourself. You're connected to yourself. You know what it means now when I send you this signal. And so as I leant in and listened to those signals, like the little tension in the diaphragm, all right, if I get on top of that earlier, then the heartburn histamine doesn't actually happen at all. Now, recently, got a book coming out, Ending Body Burnout, the same name as the podcast, same name as our program. And it's coming out, well, gosh, I was hoping end of September, but we have been, I don't like to use the word smashed. No, I don't want to use that word. We have been lovingly, we've had a loving influx of beautiful new clients join our Ending Body Burnout Method program with the launch from last month. And wow, the amount of people that have taken that courageous leap to just dive deep into the root cause of their health issues has been phenomenal. But it also has meant that I was going through a proof copy of my book to like edit it, just to make sure that there weren't any mistakes, which I'm finding quite a lot. And I've had to put that on the back burner for the moment to serve and love up our new clients. So anyway, the reason why I'm sharing that is the book is probably now going to be coming out in October. But it's been a growth experience, this book, not only writing it, but just kind of thinking about how I'm launching it, marketing it. As part of that launch, I wanted to do some live events, and it was a couple of weeks ago, but I was going through a bit of a spiral where I was just overthinking the whole book thing and feeling like I couldn't really catch up with all the things I needed to do, getting stuck into like busy patterns. And very interestingly, my body decided to send me a signal, a histamine intolerance symptom. This time it wasn't heartburn. This time it was my hands were incredibly itchy, and I could see like red tracks covering all over my palms, and those red tracks would travel up my arm, and I was so itchy, and I knew exactly what it was. One, I knew it was a histamine flare up, and because I've been on this journey for a while and I know the signals from my body, I knew that it was somehow I'd either break rapport with myself or with this new level of growth, I wasn't really sure about the new game that I was playing with this. And so, my unconscious state, my conscious mind were all out of alignment. Neither really knew what was going on. And so my nervous system was like, this feels unsafe. This feels uncertain. Let's give Philly some signals to bring her back so that her whole self can be on the same page and figure out what the heck is going on, so I can move forward with safety to succeed. So anyway, I actually shared this story with on our group call on Wednesday. I wasn't going to share it on the podcast, and I love like being more intimate, with our clients in our group sessions and one-on-one sessions. But then I thought, you know what, this is really helpful just for everyone to see how ending your body burnout isn't kind of like done once and you're symptom free for the rest of your life. Your health is beautiful. Well done, you. It's actually like this spiral of not just maintenance, but this spiral of growth that occurs. So when you have more health, you can be and do more things. If you want to, you don't have to. But often that then develops into new levels of uncertainty as the nervous system is like, oh, we haven't experienced this new thing before. So that was the case with the book. And I actually had a coaching session, which was really helpful because I'd kind of been putting off the itchiness for a while. I was just like, no, just push on, just get the things done. And yet I was getting itchier and itchier. And so then I'm like, okay, I need to create some space for myself to just figure out what is going on here. So I had a coaching session which allowed the space just to be fully vulnerable, fully open to hearing what I needed to hear from my body and to have someone else kind of just looking for blind spots in my story as well. And after that, I realized that a few things had happened. So one, I'd kind of been following, like there's a few people that I love and follow and business coaches and stuff that do certain things when they're launching things. And one lady did an amazing book tour all around Australia. So I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that's what I'll do too. And, you know, I made this conscious decision, but I didn't really understand the game that I was playing, or even if I wanted to play that game, what it would take. And it was just a flippant decision based on looking at what someone else did. And so part of that was like, ooh, the unconscious state and the conscious mind were both, hang on, what are we doing here? Like, the agreements and rules around this game is really unclear. So we're going to give you pain signals because it's currently not safe to succeed. You need to have a think about what you're doing here, Philly. And is it in alignment with yourself and is it good for you? The other thing too was the live events were causing a bit of stress because I haven't done a live event for a really long time. Not to that capacity either. Like before COVID, I used to run a lot of workshops teaching people how to make their own toxin-free makeup, skincare, cleaning products. Sometimes I'd run like a live in-person adrenal fatigue webinar, but the book launch live events felt very different. And I wanted to make them spectacular and fun and exciting. And not just in my local area, but all over Australia. And so that was kind of freaking me out a bit. And when I dug into why, there was a deeper fear that what if no one turned up? I wasn't nervous about people reading the book. The book's flippin' awesome. The book's amazing. I know that a lot of people will get a lot of value from the book. And if they don't, then we're not on the same page and that's okay. But the thought of having a live event and no one turning up to it, or maybe like 3 people, well, that kind of scared me because why did it scare me? Well, deeper than that, it's not because people don't think that what we do or what we put out isn't worth it. If no one turned up to my party, it's probably because they don't like me. So there was even like a little insecurity showing up too, a little self-limiting belief that is just like, oh, hello you. And the moment that I saw clearly what was going on and did a bit of reprogramming around, hey, you are likable because you're likable to me. And I'm internally validating myself. I don't need anyone else to tell me that I'm a good person, that I'm a fun person, that I'm a likable person, that I'm a worthwhile person. I don't need 100 people to sign up or to turn up to a live event for me to feel good about myself. So goodbye, little insecurity. You can go now. You've served your purpose. You've helped me come back to myself. and to own my own worth. And then also to getting clear on the games, like, all right, what game do I actually want to play with the launch of this book? And so and it was immediate, since that conversation with myself, since the apology, since the reprogramming, since getting just clear on the plan, I have not been itchy at all since. Like the histamine issues, completely gone, done, dusted. And it's super interesting because since then we have been, I will use the word busy, we have actually been busy with this season of the launch of Ending Body Burnout Method that doors closed. Doors closed only 3 days ago. My gosh. Okay. Yeah. And so, that required a lot more time and energy in comparison to what I usually put out in business. And now with the massive influx of new people joining the program, it is going to be a more fuller schedule so that I can make sure that everyone is serviced wholeheartedly the way that we always do. So it's not necessarily that the histamine, like it's not stress is what I'm trying to say. It's not because, all of a sudden I'm not doing as much. I'm not worrying. What's the worry? I'm not doing as much, da-da-da-da. It's like, no, I'm still living my life, but because it's safe for me to now move forward to succeed, because I back myself, because I love myself, because I'm clear on the game, the signal doesn't have to be on anymore. The signal for me, the itchiness, the histamine issues, gone, done. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because I thought that might be kind of helpful as well for you to understand if you're someone who's just like, far out. I thought I was healed, but why are the symptoms coming back again? Then you have to dig deeper. There's a deeper root cause. There's something that is happening physically in your body, but deeper than that, why do symptoms continue showing up? And for some people too, like we've had some clients who I worked with ages ago, for example, a woman who had a whole heap of health issues. Then it ended up getting sorted medically. And so it's like, cool, great, that's all done. Came back a few years later with a whole heap of other random health symptoms. And I just said to her, you know what? I'm only going to work with you if you're going to really look at the deepest root cause here, because this is a pattern showing up that you kind of solve it at a physical level, whether it's naturally or medically. Things go away, everything's fine and dandy until the next big flare up of some new weird health issues. So let's just end this. Let's end this. Let's get to the deepest root. Let's reprogram that. Let's heal the body systems. And then become super connected with yourself so that you can be your own self-regulator for the rest of your life. All right. This episode is probably going on for way too long, so I'm going to finish off now. Thank you so much for listening. Look out for more information on the book coming out. And yeah, much love to you all for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook. Have the best day ever.